What's up, YouTube? Just want to take a little time to show you how I got my no limits 10-foot 4-inch kayak set up for fishing. It's an angler kayak. Had it out a few times and really caught fish every time I go out. I mean, I'm fairly new to kayak fishing, not fishing in general. I've been fishing all my life. But just show you what we got here. Everything you see here is tied down. I got 3 rods. This is a Mitchell 300 with a 7-foot rod. Medium heavy action. Then over here I've got a little light tackle rod I've had for years and years. Still catching fish on it. It's a little small spinning reel and it's a 6.5-foot light action rod. Baited with a Texas rig, pumpkin, and a spinnerbait. That's subject to change, depends on which I go out. That's what I had on there last time I came in, so that's what's on there now. But what you see here is a tarp. I've got a dry bag with the things I need. It's a 20 liter, very little in it. Put a lot more. Don't want to carry more than I need to. May throw a few things in there that I haven't got so far. But I've got a styrofoam little child bodyboard behind my seat to give me more support where I can really stretch out. This canoe, or excuse me, kayak, it's very comfortable. It's large enough for me. I'm 6'2". Got fairly long legs, so I can get them stretched out in there. I do have some foam in the ends of the stern and the bow. I just went and bought some sheet, same kind of foam you use to insulate a room or soundproof it or whatever. Broke it off, cut it into little sections and crammed it up in each end. I've got some also in each side of the seat. That's the last thing you want to be out on the lake and your boat starts to sink if you have to ever turn it over, which you're not making plans to turn your boat over, but if you ever do, you definitely want to have some flotation in it. I've got a dry bag for a tackle box. I just got one plastic lure box in it. I've got a plastic bag full of worms and hooks and sinkers. I think I got a lighter in there and a few other things. Sunscreen, handy wipes, things like that. Probably move those back to my dry bag, but the reason they're in this tackle bag because they'll need to get them. I got them right in my hands. Got a little dip net I paid $5 for. I'm not gonna stick my hand in a fish's mouth with a hook if I don't have to. I mean, if I can't hoist him up but with my line, then I'll use the dip net. This actual net here is a fly fisherman's net, but it'll work on bass. You get the bass's head in there, you got him. I've got one paddle. I didn't spare any expense on this paddle. I think I paid $24 for it, of which I will upgrade and use this as a spare. But I wanted to find out what kind I like before I just went out and bought an expensive paddle. But what I did find out that I do like about this paddle, it's a 2-piece paddle. You can adjust the angle of it. It floats. It's light. This boat's got drainage plugs on the bow and the stern. Boat, it's 47 pounds. I put it on top of my little BMW Z3 convertible, no problem. I can have it tied on and on the road in 5 minutes. Takes a little longer to set it up for fishing when I get where I'm going. I'll allow myself about 10 minutes, 15 minutes max to set this thing up like I want it. There's my anchor. It's got a 3-pound dumbbell with a rope, of which it attaches on the stern side. I'll show you that. I've got my rods attached with clips. Both of them. Got a tarp here in case I need to cover up, get in a situation where you got to have an extended stay. You got to have a way to make it as easy on yourself as possible. You can use that tarp for a lot of things. It's not a big one. I think it's like a 6x8, but it'll cover up the inside of this where the kayak won't get wet. But here's where I attach the anchor. I've got it looped off on those those eyelets. I clip it here, run the rope up here, and I clip it with a large clip. You see the clip there, sitting on the anchor, like a big spring clip, which will hold it. The kind of anchor I use, well, the fishing that I do, I have no need of a trolley system. I'm not going to spend the money or the time to set one up. I do a lot of shallow water fishing, bass fishing, brim fishing. That's why I take a fly rod. I never come home without fish. You go in fishing, you need to bring something home, or at least whether you keep them or throw them back. I catch and release all of my fish. But I have caught some nice bass on here. Largest bass I've caught on this fly rod was like 1.75 pounds, which was a nice fight. Little hand-sized brim give you a great fight as well. So I always plan to catch some kind of fish. If the bass aren't biting, then you can count on catching brims if you got a fly rod with it. Get you a 3-piece short one, 8 feet. That's all you need. Go out and buy you a $35, $40 setup. You don't need to spend a lot of money on them. I haven't got a lot of money in tackle. I think I bought this kayak for $349. Some angler kayaks you're spending $1,200, $1,500 for. But the ropes, that's my tie-down rope to the car. Got one on the other end. This rope back on this end is what I use to. Does two things. I use it to store it, hang it up on hooks on the side of my garage, and it's got loops on each end of it. I loop it through the handle on the bow and put a loop around each shoulder and tow it wherever I'm going. It's a lot easier than having to drag it and pull it and fight with it. But there you have it. Very simple. First time I've done a kayak. But you need to think things through. Take as little as possible, because the more you got, the more time you're going to spend messing and fiddling with things instead of fishing. That's the last thing you want to do, is be fiddling around when you should be fishing. That's why you need a little anchor. I'm starting out with a 3-pound anchor. I did have 3 pounds on there. It felt a little heavy. So I'm going to try it this time with 3 pounds. If that doesn't work, then I'll go back to the 6-pound. But usually, unless you're in real choppy water, a 3-pound anchor should be plenty. I mean, you can buy the real anchors and set them up. But why? If a weight will work. Most people got weights. Find things that you use around the house. Don't spend a lot of money. I mean, kayaking fishing is so popular now that, man, they're taking you to the cleaners on some of these things that you're spending money for that you don't need to. There's a lot of things you've already got around the house that you can convert. Always take plenty of rope, paracord. I have a concealed carry license. I go nowhere without my Glock 17. Anywhere it's lawful, I take it. I take it kayak fishing. Carry it in the bag. I wear it on my side usually. A lot of places, if you're fishing reservoirs and state parks, you're definitely going to have a license to do that, but here in the state of Georgia, it's a gun-friendly state. No problem. But you see, I've got plenty of room left to store. And if I was going to take a overnighter, I would take the extra life jackets I've got out that I'm using for flotation, put a sleeping bag in there in a waterproof container. If I'm going to use a tent or a tarp or whatever, probably use a tent, maybe buy a little hammock. Won't have to use a tent, whatever, but right now it's just like, I'm just doing day fishing. And I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go out and spend 10 or 12 hours on the water just to see if a fish are biting. If they're biting, I'm going to stay with there. But I'm usually out 4 hours. 4 hours is plenty. You can't catch them in 4 hours and come back another day. Don't wear yourself out. I mean, it's easy to fish too long. Then when you get back, you got to tie all this stuff on and take a chance of damaging your equipment because you didn't tie it on right. You were hungry, tired, didn't take enough water with you. Speaking of food and water, always take it. Always take more than you need. Always have a plan. Always have a backup plan. 1 is none, 2 is 1. Whatever you've got to have to get home on, you better have 2 of them. Don't just take 1 liter of water, take 2. Or take a water system if you're going to stay out there a length of time. But you don't know for sure how much water you're going to need. Why would you want to ration water? I mean, it's free. Go ahead and take enough. It's heavy, but don't take more than you need. But what you see here is set up to catch fish. I've already proven it. You're right down on the water. You can slip right in on them. They don't even know you're there. I fished a lake with this, and I went back and fished it with a John boat. Fishing that John boat after using this kayak was like trying to maneuver a tank. It felt like when I was paddling, I never went anywhere. It was a chore. So I'm done fishing John boats. I am a kayak fisherman from now on. And I've been around this earth probably longer than most people watching these videos, but hey, I'm still young. I've still got a lot of life going. I'm not done fishing. Trying to get my wife interested in kayaking. She was into kayaking a lot when she was younger, but she's not quite ready. She wouldn't do the fishing kayak, but hey, we'll go out and kayak together. We'll not fish the time we go out on the kayaks together. I'm sure she wouldn't care too much for that, but not to say that I wouldn't take a fishing rod, you know. But what you see here is equipped to catch fish. So I just thought I'd share this with you. Someone may be looking for a kayak, looking to get started. Don't spend a lot of money. Do the research. Why spend over $300 or $400 for a kayak when you don't even know you're going to like it or not? Just make sure that you read the feedback on them. And if you can find one in store, you'll save yourself shipping. I found this one at Academy. No Limits is made especially for Academy by a company in Canada. It's good for the money. It's got some of the same quality that some of the more expensive kayaks have. But again, if you're just looking for an easy way to catch fish and not having to go buy a boat and a motor, I mean, the cheapest John boats you'll find, like a 10-footer, $600 maybe. Then you got to put a motor on it. But the good thing about kayaking, you can fish where only electric motors. Fish your county reservoirs where there's no motors allowed, only trolling motors or paddles. Peaceful. Find rivers that you can't get boats with motors down in there. So the limits are off when it comes to kayak fishing. So go out and enjoy it. You know, like the man said, why watch the videos all day long? Go do it. You'll enjoy it. So thanks for watching.